I'm thinking so much about words this week because the last three podcast guests that I have had on the Comeback Girl show have all spoken about how important it's been for them to watch their inner talk and really hold on to great words. So really inspiring motivational quotes help them, and just generally the language they employ has been a really effective tool in making them successful. And Liz Ward, who is the pivot coach, talks about how self-fulfilling words can be. So in her cute little Yorkshire accent, she said, if you say you can't cook, you're going to burn the toast. And I think that's absolutely true. We talk ourselves into a bad game. Naomi Olalea, who is a brand consultant, she's very aware of personal brand and how you put yourself out in the world, how you tell your story, how a brand tells a story. Talks about how when she got her own life coach, they spent a lot of time examining the words that she used and the way that she spoke to herself. And so now she exists on a diet of saying that everything's going to work out in the day, and she feels great, and she's definitely got enough energy, and all the right people are going to get around her to make whatever she needs to make happen. And she said that it has been incredibly life-changing just to adapt her language and the script that she speaks to herself. And then Patsy Richardson, who is a kidney transplant and brain surgery survivor. She had a big job. She was a big deal in strategy for a consumer company, and then she was faced with kidney failure, and she was at home being dialyzed for hours and days on end. And she had to encourage herself and tell herself that it was just okay if she got to the end of the road and delivered a letter, or even if she just managed to do nothing that day except get herself up and showered. And she also talked about how arousing and motivating listening to her favourites, Winston Churchill, but just the motivational talk of some great leaders who really stir something in you and bring you out of yourself, really. She found that was incredibly useful. Then if you think about Instagram, it's full of motivational success quotes. I put loads up there myself, and I love flicking through them because it just reminds me of another perspective. Words are powerful. I've put 2 posts up on the Comeback Girl website this week about words. Number 1 post is about how we talk to ourselves, and number 2 is about the words that we use out in the world. And particularly when we come to the world of work, negotiating your position in the first place, your pay, your flexible work, how it's all going to pan out, how you present yourself in an interview, and then work going forward. I really hope they're useful. Have a look on the Comeback Girl website. But I think what's also important are the words that we should try and cut from our vocabulary. And these are areas that I'm really working on at the moment. You know, we whinge about mansplaining. Well, it's definitely a thing, but I've been womansplained plenty of times as well. And I want to be as articulate and impactful with what I say, or don't say at all, as possible. And so there are 4 or 5 groups of words that I would suggest that you start to watch yourself using and see if you can just try and gradually cull them from your language. The first one is a filler word like so on or etc. And that suggests that you don't know what else to say, or you're buying time. Much better to just create some space around your words. Pause, think about what you're going to say next. You're going to be much more impactful. The second area are the ability phrases, I guess. So when you say, don't worry about it, that can actually be quite belittling to your audience. Or on the other hand, it could sound like you haven't really thought something through. It might make someone feel uncomfortable. Well, if you don't think it's a problem, are you actually taking the task seriously? Will you be appropriating the right level of energy to it and the right level of importance to what you're facing? The third area are the protector words. So that's things like I just did this bit of the project, or I just whipped that up really quickly. No, don't take anything away from yourself, your ability, your delivery, your aptitude to get something done, and your level of commitment to the job. So just ditch the just word. I think drama words, so totally, absolutely. The one I hear quite a lot now is, I know, right? It's like we've all turned American. I'm not quite sure where you use it, perhaps to express astonishment, or you're surprised at an outcome. I think that language is, it's quite sweet, it's colloquial, but perhaps it's not the best way to give an account of yourself as a person who's all grown up and knows some stuff and is, when you're portraying yourself in an interview, for example, the interviewer is thinking how you're going to be with the clients that they have, the team that they have. They're imagining you all the time in the various situations that they're going to need this position they're hiring for to be in. So you want to be always on guard and using your best language, or if you're not sure what to say nothing at all. There's loads of impact in just leaving some space in a conversation. I am really trying hard to do that. When I'm negotiating or I want to make a point, I try and pause afterwards. And actually, even practicing it now, I'm quite uncomfortable leaving some space, but it makes a difference when you slow down and you take some time over what you're saying and your delivery. It inspires confidence from your listener that you know what you're all about and you know what you're saying. And then I think the final one is apology words. So I'm sorry, or the sucking in of breath, or all of that. Ditch it. Unless it's really appropriate, you need to apologize for something. I think that and I was certainly like this, we may have on our career breaks had time out where we were caring for people, and that, just purely because of the environments that you find yourself in, means that you soften your language right off. You don't need to be that direct. You don't need to be that concise in your language. And we do tend to get a little bit more apologetic just for taking up some space. So all of that needs to go when you're coming back to work. Give yourself lots of space, create lots of white space around the words that you are choosing. It makes you sound confident. It makes you sound like you know what you're about. It makes you sound like you know what your offering is. So it's really, really powerful. Words are so powerful. I hope you enjoy the podcasts. Naomi is coming out in 2 weeks' time. Liz is out this week. Please, I'd love you to like the Facebook page. I'd love any feedback that you have about content, blog posts, things I could post about, interview questions you'd like. It would all be helpful. I'm really enjoying this, so I want to make sure that it's hitting an audience. So please let me know what you think. Let me know how you're going with the words that you're using or the words that you're ditching.